I ask God that you just bless this meeting, let it run smoothly, God, in Jesus' mighty name. Amen.
There is another copy of the agenda in here, is there? Nope. Just from Patty. There's one outside. Actually, can I take one? Yeah, just right here. Kate's gonna grab the one outside. Thank you, Kate. Who's first on the agenda? This was our conservation.
I didn't know.
This is the only place that I come to where I put my coat on and zip it up. Everywhere else I make it over. Yeah. So she's.
I didn't have to borrow.
She's not decided on doing this, so you guys can kind of help out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Conservation?
Yeah.
John?
Thank
Oh, you're planning, Kate, oh, Kate's conservation, right?
Yeah. Do we have her? Okay, you're up. You got a paper? Oh, here it is.
I don't have that thing, but I've got my little letter things. What do you want to know? 2852, bottom line. Increases in Conservation Commission's annual dues, and an increase in the cost of workshops from 50 to 60, and an addition of the Southeast Land Trust membership at $75. Everything else remains the same.
Those are all set amounts, right? You can't change.
Well, you could change, I mean, yeah, you could change, well, in the workshops, there's, you could say no, no, no. Well, we have to insist on the New Hampshire Association of Conservation Commissioners, the legal fees, you could reduce that if you wanted to. And the VLAP and the Sunrise Lake Watershed, well, let's keep those as the same because they represent our biggest expenditures of last year.
That's all.
Yes.
I mean, make the bolts.
It's okay, so Tracy, with any questions, you just come on and make it zoning board. Unless somebody's got any questions. Anybody have any questions on conservation?
Nope.
Quick and easy, Kate.
No.
Yes.
Thank you, everyone. Well,
See you
thank you for
Wednesday.
doing what you're doing. It's not easy. It's all money.
We haven't opened the same page. I've already mentioned that.
Wednesday night, Ronnie.
Yeah, it's on.
See you Wednesday, guys.
Although I have to do it. That's okay.
Oh.
I just wrote.
Yeah, I know I can copy that. So, yeah, I don't know, it's like something that's something Oh, because I submitted one and John submitted one. Is the total the same?
I have to explain some numbers, but not quite, because you included the 5,000 budget item, and that will never be spent. I don't know why that's in there, because that's just for scrap. Our dues are only paid. So I.
Oh, did I put it in the wrong
Yeah.
one? Okay, that's
And
fine.
we talked earlier about record writing.
So, you're back to writing one, ignore that one.
We can ignore this one. The doctor.
Which one is it?
So this,
Graphic writing.
that one, the very, if you want this one, yeah,
We go by this one?
go by that one. This is a little bit more
Only this
detailed.
one.
Yeah, that's plain. You want the
You
one
want to
that's.
save that paper?
You want the one that says 245 at the top.
Right.
This is for planning. Do we have an extra copy? It's
Same.
an individual word.
Okay.
I can say, well, they didn't start the fire.
Yeah, it is, it's certified.
Do we have any extras of John's? You're ready?
Oh,
Go ahead, thanks. How many do you need?
just one. Does anybody else need one that was in this? Yes. You want to speak up to this, John?
Sure. First of all, a couple of the sheets, the double sheets, they're on the first page, I've got to put the funding request, I put in there why I'm requesting funding request. So this is on the first sheet. Some of you may have a double-sided sheet. It's line item 4191-17, which is reference material, being at the same as before $300. So let me go over the budget that I would like to entertain.
I don't have a dash seven.
Down at the bottom, very bottom.
Oh, yeah. Oh, sorry.
So that was my error there. Looking at the budget and what we are proposing, first of all, I'm looking at the statement that I was given in September, and then I have one dated October, and they're identical in terms of spending and so forth. So on there, the first line item, Stratford Regional Planning, you budgeted 5275 for that. I don't know why that was planning dues. And their budget cycle goes from July 1st to June 30th. So we're up to date until June 30th, 2025. From July 1 to June 30, 2026, the new dues will be $2,457.41. I rounded it up myself. The resources for planning board in the town in terms of maps and helps with zoning and so forth and so on. So it's a viable resource for us to participate. Next item on there is 4191, the newspaper ads. The dollar is on there just in case law changes or something we need to do a newspaper ad. Most of our public hearings do not need newspaper ads. but in case we do, I'd like to keep the dollar in there to keep the line item active. Workshops was the next one, 4199.15. Kept it the same 450. We haven't totally utilized the 450. I encourage board members to go to seminars and participate in web ordinances, procedures, and so forth and so on. I'm encouraging the board to go to more, and some of those include, and I think I put in my reason for this, and again, it's not increasing the line, is the New Hampshire Municipal Association annual meeting. That's very beneficial for those who go. Also, there's workshops put on by New Hampshire Office of Economic Development, which gets into planning board issues. And there's one that just cropped up, and I encouraged our clerk to go to that one. And that was, I don't know if that one was $200. So I would like to keep that budget line the same so that our members can attend. I think in-person seminars are important. So are webinars, but I like the face-to-face. You learn a lot more than you do on a webinar, in my opinion. Reference material, $300. We haven't spent any yet. Part of that would be for next year to get more information in the hands of the planning board members in terms of rules. But I understand that. Do we get billed for that?
For what?
For the books that we get, the planning board books?
I don't know which books you mean.
Okay, I'm not sure. If we do, it should come out of that budget. We get enough. Planning board book produced by the state. Stratford Region Planning orders those, and I don't know if we get billed for those or not. I think we did.
You want to show me one this?
Yeah, I will.
This book?
Yeah, that one there. That, what that does, that's a planning board Bible. That has all the statutes that are referenced to, statutes involved with land management, planning board, procedures, all that sort of stuff. And that's all right, the next item on there is the one that's really changing. Currently, we have a budget of $7,500, and right now we haven't spent any of that money, and the reason being is we are working on ordinances. And ordinances, when we change ordinances, whether the zoning ordinance, add an ordinance, take away an ordinance, it's prudent for the planning board and the town to put forth our changes and wording to the attorneys. And that can cost anywhere from $1,800 to $2,500 a look, just on the amount of time. We will have some changes this year. Not as many as we had hoped for in terms of zoning ordinances. So will we spend all the $7,500? More than likely not. But next year we have plans for some very dramatic changes in the way we look at ordinances, and I'm encouraging us to look at, we're going to spend more on, we'd like to spend more on legal. Legal will be involved in a couple areas. We hope to do at least three ordinances, which will take some time. Workforce housing, those will require, I believe, some professional help. Planning board is a volunteer organization. The 4 members on the planning board, 3 of them have full-time jobs. It takes a lot of time to do research, and I think land management, land resource laws, and so forth are getting rather difficult. When we start changing ordinances, I think we need professional help. So I'm requesting, and this is a big number, I understand, a $5,000 increase to that $7,500 line. That's $12,500. I believe if we have that resource available to us, we can accomplish at least of those 3 and assist us in managing. So I hope you will agree with that. And so budget, if you took out the payment of $23.89 from the $52.75, instead of the budget being 13,526, the way I figured it out, the budget was 10,641, what it should have been. So adding approximately $5,000 to it, that's a 47% increase. That we're requesting. So where the money is in the legal. We need the legal help. We can't do it on our own. And we need professional guidance. One of the things that we could do, and it's costly, but a lot of small towns do it. Stratford Regional Planning offers what they call a circuit rider, and what that is kind of an assistant that helps the planning board navigate through meetings and so forth and so on. I haven't got an idea of cost on that, but I will have that shortly. Any questions?
You have outstanding bills for this year?
I don't believe so.
How many are on the board?
4. We have no alternates. Actually, 3 members and 1 ex-officio.
We need members.
What's that?
We need more members.
Yeah, I think every board needs 1 member. Select board.
We're actually the only 2 on the budget.
Oh.
She's the rep from the school, and she's the rep from the Sunrise Village.
Very good.
So we have a 2% tax cap. Are we getting that under 2%?
No, it's not. I hope, if you're requiring to stick to 2%, is that what you're asking? to do?
Well, the total budget needs to stick to 2%.
Right.
Is it
Total
then
budget.
at the end, but
Yeah, I think, I understand the 2% tax cap, but a 2% increase, I don't think would allow us to do the things that you want us to do, or what the people have chartered us to do in terms of the planning board. We certainly can cut that back. We won't get things done that we feel is important for the town. Protect its resources, its way of life, its safety through ordinance. So that's my consideration. If you want to get a better feel of where I'm coming from on that, I would recommend that you read the purpose and the authority of the planning board, which is on page 4 of our zoning ordinance. And it really spells out what we need. If I may, I'll just read briefly to get it in the record. This is Article 2, Paragraph 2. The purpose of this ordinance, which is the zoning ordinance, further being to lessen the congestion in the street, to secure safety from fires, panic, and other dangers to promote health and the general welfare, provide adequate light and air to prevent the overcrowding of land, to avoid undue concentration of local population, to facilitate the adequate provision of transportation, solid waste facilities, water, sewers, schools, parks, child daycare, and to ensure the proper use of conservation and preservation of natural resources and other public requirements. That's what we're charged to do. So,
Thank you.
thank
Does the
you.
planning board have any ordinances that could go to legal before the end of the year?
The zone, yes, we are redoing, re-editing, if you will, clearing up some discrepancies in the whole zoning ordinance, so that would go. We are recommending to pull one ordinance, just, in other words, delete it from the thing. So that would have to be looked at also. Whether we were going to look at workforce housing, it's too complicated. We just didn't have the time to get into that. The septic one is one that we believe that we need to educate the public before we start proposing, because that's a big elephant in the room. And it will take a lot of education. And what I'm going to recommend, and I have recommended that I have grants and resources to do that. So we have in hand an ordinance written. But we feel it's not ready for prime time yet, we want more time next year. And then the growth management, looking into growth management is a very complex ordinance to write correctly. The ones we've looked at other communities are quite detailed. Some are 5 pages, some are 20 pages. They include a lot of data, calculation of growth and so forth and so on. There's even questions been brought up about in the statute it says, kind of refers, you gotta have a date, a window, and you might interpret that as we already have a moratorium. Does that affect a growth management plan? My opinion, at this time, without getting deeper into it, no, it would not affect it. So what is a growth management plan? What it does is it reduces the amount of growth that you can have in your community. Building permits for residents. Only one building for a commercial building, that kind of thing. So that kind of slows growth, controls growth, and that's part of the key that we're chartered to do. Again, that's an ordinance that needs, I believe, professional guidance on how to develop that. I mean, we have on the planning board in the past, because of resources and so forth, have done a lot on our own. We go to various towns, get the ordinances, kind of look at them, blah, 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 and we kind of go from there. I think we need to do more professional work. So that's why we're doing it that way. Or requesting it that way, I'm sorry.
We have about a month and a half, a little under, for the end of the year. Any of those things that you're requesting for next year, can they be, like, the books you're here?
Yeah, go ahead.
The books are yearly, like they give us a new book every year.
Yeah, because there's a lot of changes in statutes on land use. We get blurbs from the municipal association, a summary of some of them all, but they're little things. And the books, do we read those? It's like reading, it's a product manual with paper thin pages and very small font.
It's a great reference book. It's
It is a
something
great
that
reference.
I totally understand, I just wasn't sure it was updated every year.
Oh, yeah.
Yes, they update every year, and I won't be surprised if, like, the next couple of years, there'll be more updates with all the different workforce housing and laws that we're trying to push through, but I don't know when, I'm not sure when you're able to, like, order and buy it. I know it takes a little bit for them to come in, but when they actually submit the order to get new.
I think they update them after all legislation has been completed for the 23-24 session. And the book also contains cases that, under particular situations, that may help us understand when a situation comes up, how that was resolved for the statute. That's a book that if you can't go to sleep at night, you can read a couple pages.
I have a few of those.
Out in about 5 minutes.
Thank you, John. Thank you.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
John, does Robin order those books for us?
They notify us, because they get the books. They notify us, and then we tell them how many. And in the past, it was, so I guess the chairman is, okay, I need 6, I need 10, whatever it
I'm
is.
just wondering, I don't know if you're trying to get to, like, if we could order the books now, for.
Because we have plenty left in the budget.
Oh, yeah. I'll inquire
For
about it.
this year,
Yeah,
to put the expenses on
Yeah.
this year would be great.
I will clarify that expense in terms of reference material, particularly on
Do you know if we got books this year?
We did.
We did, and we didn't expend it, so
We have pretty,
I would guess that it probably comes as part of the.
part of the Stratford.
Yes.
I'm pretty
Oh,
sure that's the
probably.
case. So I'll check that out.
Hand up, John.
No, enough for him, for her. What happened to the zoning board? They didn't bring anything in, there was scheduled
Zoning
at
planning
5:15.
is the same, isn't it?
No.
Oh, it's not needed right now.
I don't even see a report here for zoning.
I don't either.
Well, I'd like to address
I'll look
it.
into that.
Huh?
I can look into that when we get back. Yeah. You said you want to address it?
Yeah, I don't have a bottom line budget or anything, but I know, Tim, do you remember if it was 25 grand or 15 grand that they wanted to up for lawyer fees?
No, let's go. They want to do a warrant article for that.
Okay,
So that would be part of the budget.
okay.
Other than that, let's go. They were looking to keep everything status quo.
Yeah, everything else was the same except for lawyers fees.
Right, and that's, let's go. We're going to do a warrant article for that.
Okay. All right, that's what I thought, but I just want
Okay.
to, I don't have the paper. And I don't see anything here tonight for.
So nothing has been submitted to the zoning.
Okay, ready?
I think we're all set.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
We don't have anything.
No, he was working on it today, so I didn't say it all now.
We're going to go for 5:45. 10 minutes.
Lisa, you wanna go while you're here?
It's yours. Oh. I thought it was early. That didn't be far. John didn't talk much, we lost.
I printed out one sheet of the justification. What's it? Here?
She's vice chair, but it would have been nice for all of us. We use these as reference. We are seeing.
I have it saved so I can print out one for you.
Is there anything for us?
I just don't have the justification for it, you guys, but I have. Justification.
Do you know if the package came across?
Yes.
It is over there.
Yes. I was gonna tell you, but sorry, I didn't see anything.
What's that?
I was gonna tell you when you gave me, but I didn't see anything.
If you could, as we go through it, just tell us what the actual line rolls are.
He only has a line for 1,600.
So we have to. What was the increase?
15,600. Line one.
Increases.
On line one?
Increase isn't 15,000, the increase is
It says increase to 15,600.
250.
That's what I said.
15,600
Yeah.
So it'll be the total.
for the code enforcement salary. Line 4240.
It says on the budget.
Everything else it has listed same. It doesn't have any numbers or anything else.
But are you on line 4240?
4240 is the department line, and then it's.
No, 4241, the first line, I'm guessing that's what the.
Yeah.
Yes, 01, and that's the only one that has.
Did you send that to the BOS?
I just finished it this morning.
What does this line go to? Does the first line go to?
It goes to
42,
42, 40,
41,
11.
42, 41.
Oh, okay. Here, maybe it is.
And freedoms, it's been bad. Had to meet the ARP bond.
I don't know.
So I guess I'll start. I have a question. I haven't seen the paperwork or anything, but I'm looking at 4007 for electrical inspections.
Yep.
We increased Mr. Chickling's,
It was like double last year.
right, is it changed on that as well?
It hasn't changed on that, no.
But we increased it this year, correct?
This previous budget, yes, in March it increased.
Right, so obviously that line is going to need to increase, I would assume.
I thought that it was reflected on there already.
Well, it's at 81.45%. So, as, the end
Electrical
of October.
salary, is that 85? Is it, am I looking at the wrong thing?
At the end of October, it was at 81.45%.
I thought that it was reflected, if I remember right.
That's not gonna be reflected in this previous year's budget, because we just implemented it in 2024. That increase to his pay was implemented in 2024. So it was done after
Tell me.
last year's budget.
Okay.
So,
So with that said, I just assumed where they were saying, other than the code enforcement line increases, I would assume that there's gonna be an increase to that line. Just to cover it. I get that, that expenditure is all dependent on the.
But that was
inspections.
increased, but last year I came for that budget line increase. So wouldn't I be just asking for a budget line increase on top of a budget line increase if I do it again this year?
But correct me if I'm wrong, I think it was, we'll call it June, July, right in there, that you came and we increased. When you came and submitted all the paperwork for increases to all the fees and stuff?
Right,
Okay,
last year.
alright, so this number's good, that's all.
That's why I'm pretty sure it was reflected on there.
As long as that's what I was trying to get to the bottom of, is that this is a good number here.
Yeah, that should be, because I remember it was increased on there.
so the only line that you're increasing is the code enforcement salary line?
That's the only thing that I've been seeing that needs an increase. I did put a mark there about contacting the computer software company, because I haven't been able to find anything saying whether or not or that's something that we pay one time, or are we paying it every year. But I kind of need to know that, because that's like 1,000 something on there on that line. But then I know that they used to be like 3,000 because it was expensive one year, so I'm unsure.
I think that was when they did the update.
So that's why I'm not sure, I feel like that's a yearly fee.
Wasn't the software probably contract we had then?
I think that the year that it was, that larger budget was when they did like a big transition.
Right.
And then after that, it
That was
went
like
down.
2 years ago.
Yeah.
Right, since it's been a consistent contract we've had with them, right?
And that fee that I see on there, I believe is just a contract fee, but I haven't been able to check. if that's
Yeah, I don't know
just a
how
contract
often they do like those updates.
Because they've never contacted me to update anything, so I want to make sure that if something were to happen, then I would know in advance from them. Because last time it was like 3,000 something dollars that
Right.
we didn't have in the budget, like 3 years ago. I remember there was an issue when I first came in, it was before me, but I just remember.
So with that increase of salary, what are we getting out of you?
Oh, there's a justification sheet right here.
So have you gotten your certification yet, and are you going to?
I haven't gotten all the certifications yet now.
Are you going to?
I'm still working towards it, yeah, but I don't really have a whole lot of extra time. Because I think like $600 a year to work for less than $10 an hour.
How many hours a week are you putting in?
Average 10 plus, depending on the week. Some weeks during the summer it can be more than 10, but some weeks it can be 8, sometimes it can be 12. It's never a set number, but usually it's 10 plus. I get a lot of calls, have to go to the office a couple times. Realistically, it could be a lot more, but the funds just aren't there for me to have incentive to add more.
bring your hourly rate to? Like how many, so you see that's at $30 an hour?
At the very last line, the second from last line, it talks about the amount of hours.
Can you talk about it? 'Cause we don't know how to.
Yeah, we don't have
So I went on municipal.org, research for past like year, you know, how much the average part-time code enforcement building position pay, and they usually start around $30 an hour average, and they go way up past that, but the lower end is $30, and that would allow $10 hours at $30, 52 weeks a year, comes out to about 15,600, like, yeah, close enough. And it also talks about how I have the additional fees that I've increased, and how I produced more revenue for the department. In the past, the revenue for the department was pretty much flat. The department has its expenses and its revenue were like the same. We weren't producing income for the town. And last year it was like 25,000. This year I'm expecting that after these next couple permits come in before the beginning of the year, it will probably be around 30,000. Fees have been increased, so it's most likely going to go up somewhere in the ballpark of like 40 to 45,000 for next year, because there's still a lot of houses still being built. So I'm not far out of the realm of way far out of the budget, and this would allow that if, who knows, I mean, I had someone could offer me a job for something completely different, and I take that. You're not going to get somebody for $5,600 to do that job efficiently.
Do we have has any of you guys on the board done, like a check of what the other towns are paying? I know you can get it on the municipal side, but I'm going to right now.
Well, we've done,
You're talking about for code enforcement?
Yeah.
No, we have the,
other departments, yeah.
it depends on when we have vacancies and what we're looking to fill. That's what we look for. But paperwork that you're looking at now, we haven't seen that.
So, Carl, is the guaranteed giving the town 10 hours a week?
10 hours per week, yes.
So we'd be guaranteed that many hours per week?
Absolutely. Absolutely, 10 hours per week, no problem whatsoever. I don't have a problem with giving more hours also. I'm just saying that will justify at least a 10-hour per week. Currently, at the amount that I've been doing, you know, some weeks it's practically working for free by the time I'm done. Which I don't mind helping the town, but at the same time, I'm losing money myself.
So this that you're showing, are these like permits that were pulled for new houses?
Yes,
And how much?
everything including gas, electrical, plumbing, houses, everything's included in those lines.
And are these the new fees?
Some of them have the old fees, some of them have new fees. This new current fee was just like a month and a half ago, so you're not gonna have a whole lot of those new fees. I think maybe like the past like 3 weeks is probably the new fees that's been on there, because it finally went live online.
So this, the permit for it, like October 4th, it says added, it says added 10/7, sorry, I just like to remember the fees.
You on the last page?
Yeah, the fees collected, so it was that 23,852.42. Is that how much the town got?
Currently, until this date of the print of this, so 10/7/24.
So is that just for that one, like this one permit? Like, is this a new bill?
That's showing everything, building permits, electrical permit, plumbing, gas. They all total up to that amount.
Like total for the year? So this is like a year to date?
Yep, the previous page you looked at for 2023 is the same thing. It shows down the bottom of 24, 6, 10, 58. And then the first year that I came in, it was the 11/2, 11/8.
Oh, sorry, I missed that. How much have we brought in year to date so far?
This year,
Yeah.
currently it's 23,852 and 42 cents. Last year it was 24,610 and 58. Total expenses last year was like 11,060. something.
And it's for all permits.
Everything included, yeah.
Can you make sure a copy of all this gets emailed over to the POS email?
Yeah.
Any more questions?
I just wanted to say with the amount that he just gave, there are some permits still in my office that people haven't been in and paid for, so that number, it could increase quite a bit. I haven't looked at the totals or anything, but just to be fair, that way everyone's aware that there are still some outstanding.
Well, they have until the end of the year too, so between now and.
I know there's at least 2 houses that should probably be getting permitted in the next couple weeks. So that should produce in the realm of like $7,000, I would think.
For a total new build?
Yeah, for a total new home with that, with all the inspections and everything included.
So we're looking around 30,000 for the
I
year.
would expect around 30,000 based on, because I know they're building a new house on Lake Shore. And there's a large renovation going on over at Pinkham as well. It's gonna be coming shortly, so.
So one new build house, approximately how much does one new build?
Depends on your square footage of the home, the finished square footage of the entire building. Because your finished area has one tax rate versus your unfinished area. So there's not tax rate, but fees. For your, yeah, so I guess it's technically the tax rate. The value is based on what you have for finished space, and then what you have for uninhabitable finished space. So if you have, like I said, a garage, it's not finished.
Yeah.
And then if you have like porches, sheds, all that stuff, that's another rate as well.
So on average, how much does one new build cost?
$3,000 to $4,000 probably.
So really to cover your salary, we would need, what, 4, 5 new build
So
houses?
that's just for new buildings.
Yeah.
And then you have on top of that, you have all your electrical, you have your gas, demo, driveways, all that stuff included. Not driveway, I don't know why that's listed on here, but that's only a 2022, that's why. And the ones that doesn't list that.
So my only thought of concern is that if the salary for code enforcement goes up this much, and the permits and buildings don't continue to stay at what we're doing, if it will still be self-sustainable.
Hasn't shown it for a while.
It is, but you know how things go, there's a build, a boom,
Because
and
you're also
then there's a
looking at
recession.
you're also just looking at homes, you're not looking at alterations, you're not looking at decks, you're not looking at additions. You're just talking new homes is what you were just talking about. So you may have 4 new homes, but you have 20 alterations, or
Or you might
30
not have
decks.
any new homes
Possibly, yeah.
for a year or two. And
Absolutely,
if you just have like additions or little things,
possibly.
is that gonna be enough to sustain without impacting?
I wouldn't know, I can't predict the future, but, I know that in the past it doesn't show any signs of slowing down. And, I know that there's still gonna be, even at an increase of, about $10,000, there's still gonna be, if it does end up hitting that 45,000 or 40 of next year, that still leaves a surplus of $18,000 to $23,000 from the previous year that was produced by the town, by the position. I would assume that it's not gonna slow down anytime, because it hasn't slowed down in quite some time, like 20 years at that time.
Can you give us an answer on the software?
Yes, absolutely.
Maybe
Yeah,
by next week so that we
Yeah,
can
yeah.
have that in.
Yeah, because I wanna know either way. I'm assuming that's what it is, but, because I know it used to be like 3,000 something and it got decreased. So if it got decreased, that makes me think that that's what it is. It's just a yearly thing, because I don't think they're gonna let us use their software for free. I don't think it's like Microsoft, where you just buy their software and you have it or whatever, but even Microsoft isn't free.
Well, most software is subscription based anyway, so.
Right, yeah, so I'm assuming that that's their annual fee, but I need to get the answer from them. that's the amount that the annual fee is. There's not like an additional 400 or whatever in there that we're saving for if we have to have something in the future.
Yeah, because if that is their annual fee, we haven't got a bill yet.
I didn't get what you
I
said.
said if it is their annual fee, we haven't got a bill yet either.
Right. Exactly. So that's what I want to figure out, because it went down substantially, and it kind of seems like an arbitrary number for it to not be, but I need to get that answer from them.
That's not for that Avatar.
Yeah.
I'm almost positive like Avatar did like a big thing when I was on the board, and that's what it was. Now, like I said, how often they do that, like if it's an every 5 year or who knows, but it would be nice to prepare for it. Because if we find out like next year, hey,
I'll get an answer. I'll get an answer this week. They'll let me know. They're usually pretty, the CCS is pretty good. Or Avatar is pretty good. CCS is the one that's a little bit harder to get a hold of. But Avatar is usually pretty quick about their answers within a day. Not difficult to work with.
What about dues? Are they due at the end of the year or what?
Dues are for when you're going to any of your meetings or you have any of your memberships and stuff like that. Most of that stuff nowadays is online.
So there's no.
So technically dues right now is, I actually paid my own dues last year and never requested the money for it, for the stuff for the ICC certification. I paid the certification and all that stuff. I did all the funding for that and didn't ask for any money from that.
What about workshops?
Those are usually free, sometimes they're $50. I haven't really had any this year that haven't been free.
Okay.
Sometimes they're $50, sometimes $75. It depends on if you go to Concord or if they decide that they feel like you have to have lunch that day, because they'll charge you. But yeah, usually there's somewhere in the ballpark of $50 to $75 for those meetings in Concord. Most of them are repetitive, so the ones I've been doing have been online, and they're usually free.
And the last thing I'm curious about was, doesn't look like you included anything for mileage this year? Mileage?
I haven't requested any mileage. I used to request it, and it usually, it was just a little more work than it was worth almost for me, but by the end of it, it was like $30 or something.
So I guess I don't know who would get this information, this is what I'm curious about is, what is the going rate for towns around us? And then what are their like job description or requirements, like, do they have to have certifications, do they have to have all of this stuff? And how many hours a week they're working, to see if we're, I mean, I think some of these changes need to be done, but I think changes need to be done every which way. Because it is quite a bit of a jump, but.
So is the revenue,
uh,
so is the English revenue.
So, if you're looking for somebody to volunteer to look into the price for a work concert around the area, I would do that.
Go to person?
You can do it over with, yeah.
I'm just curious to know of, all of comparing apples to apples
So,
and what they do.
so I can use, I can look that up and let's have an entry by the next US team.
Which doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to be reflective on what it should be today. If somebody's been doing it for 10 years and they haven't negotiated that,
Right.
what's their pay gonna be?
Well, we can also find out kind of
Yeah, I'm just
what the
saying.
comparables are and
Absolutely, I'm just saying that if in this instance, if they ask Middleton, what should they pay over in New Durham?
Right.
And you give them their fund line, I think that they'd probably realize that that's under. That's all.
absolutely.
The position too, just so everybody understands, the position entails more than just going out for the inspections.
Absolutely. I
Carl
understand.
has been tasked with a multitude of tasks for the board of selectmen this year as far as people living in residents that they shouldn't be living in, condemning homes, dealing with people that are living in mobile homes and campers and what have you, which are outside the scope of our zoning ordinances. So that position encompasses all of that as well. those job functions don't necessarily bring in any revenue.
I get it, I'm not
But
trying to
his
criticize.
job also is to keep our town clean.
Yeah.
You know, when you drive down the street, somebody has debris all over their front lawn and it devalues your homes, that's his job to address that as well.
I just want clarification because that's what's gonna be asked. The taxpayers are gonna say, whoa, why is this line,
Yeah, it's over double.
why is it over double? Why is this jumping up so much? Why do we have to pay this much money?
Carl, I'm not saying that to say you, because around, just, yeah.
Well, that's why I provided the revenue part too, because as you can see, that it's already, somebody could have sat here and not done anything like was done for the past 15 years.
Yeah.
And you would have got no increase in revenue. What I was getting at.
Do you submit a timesheet? I haven't seen one for you.
Okay.
A timesheet?
I haven't been doing the time sheets.
If you could start doing that even like this week, just so that we can have even a couple of weeks of.
There are ones in the past, that's for sure. Those ones should be.
I know the board has asked for it before,
Yep.
earlier this year, and I still have not seen one. It would just be more justification
Yep.
to help.
Yep. Questions?
Thank you, Carl.
Yeah, thank you. You guys can have these ones if you want.
Welfare? Christine?
What's that?
Give them.
Carl, you'll still send that over, you know?
Yes. I'm going to the office right now.
No rush.
I was going there anyway.
So for general welfare assistance, I have 3,500.
Could you sit over here? We can't quite hear you. Thank you.
For general welfare assistance, it's 3,500 I have down. For line 2, for fuel assistance, I have 1,500. That's the assistance with putting in fuel. For line 3, the mileage meetings, I have $100. And the third of that goes for the welfare association membership. The other 70 is for meetings. For line 4, I have the salary increase of 2%. For line 5, we have the welfare cell phone, which is $480, that's $40 a month. And for the supplies, I have balance of dollars, and miscellaneous, odds and supplies. Any questions?
How much do you use for welfare supplies? Because that will be coming out of your lines now, the supply closet's locked up.
To be honest with you,
Nothing?
I haven't pulled supplies when I first took over. I mean, I do need to make copies and stuff with the copy machine and stuff. But I don't use much, so I wouldn't worry about that. I have the folders already, I have multiple applications already put together in a folder, so I don't foresee anything wrong for this year. Correct?
Have you been getting a stipend for the cell phone?
Do I get a stipend? No, you guys provided me with one.
Oh, okay.
That's,
Yeah.
No, I didn't want my personal cell phone dragged into any of this.
I gotcha.
No, it's fair, if
No, you guys.
the number was different,
It's just funny because it only has on 2696 expended, it's just really weird at the end of the year.
Prepaid phone bill, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, you
Yeah,
guys,
so she's not using it.
everything comes to you guys.
just curious.
No, there needs to be a transfer, like, so that it goes smoothly.
Thank you.
Listen, I think I have a sinus infection. I'm gonna go to the hospital.
Oh.
Yeah, thank you.
I did make copies for everyone.
Yeah.
Came prepared. There's only a few changes. There's a couple of line items that aren't written because they don't exist, because one is for the change in the AccuVote machine. And obviously, we're not gonna be able to use the same GL number than with the new voting works or what have you.
Okay.
Sorry about that. And then the other one that doesn't have a GL number, or item line number, whatever you want to call it, is for my budgeting for a new credit card machine. Obviously, I'm sure the board knows, but I don't know who else is aware. The old machine that we had, the company did not make me aware that it was going to be obsolete, and then one day I had an error, and I've not had a credit card machine for like a month and a half. I've had no response from them, and I have already been working on, for like town meeting, I was going to try to get the town to go for a different machine, even though there's a monthly fee. It's going to eliminate human error because we're not gonna be typing in numbers, so today on the night, it's gonna be easier for him, it's gonna be easier for me, so there's no mistakes made. So being that we're so close to the end of the year, I felt it's just better, since I've got a little bit of extra, well, not extra money, but unused money at the moment in my budget, that we just try to implement the new machine in now and work it into next year's budget, just to make it easier for everyone.
What's the cost of it?
It's $40 a month, and then there's, roughly, and I don't have the numbers yet, because obviously it's hard to judge how many you're going to have. There are small fees, for us, and when I called Middleton today and talked to the town clerk over there, she said that, just guess on the high end, $15 added, so it'd be $55 a month, so it's basically $660 a year. Because it's so many cents per transaction or whatever, but I don't think there's a way for us to break down how many transactions we do now with it not being looped into like the Avatar system. But this does coordinate with Avatar, so they're gonna be actively involved, and Invoice Cloud's gonna come in and set it up and hook everything up, and hopefully it'll just make life easier. Because everyone's been nice about not having a credit card machine, but like myself, there are people who don't know where the checkbook's at, because how often you write. So, unless we're ready to install an ATM machine in the town hall, then. And then the mortgage searches, We were, I believe it was 1,100. Yeah, 1,100 was budgeted last year. I put it to 1,500 because obviously there's no way to foresee, we've pretty much expended that budget. I know that we ran into an issue with some of the properties that were gonna be deeded. Basically for the town's benefit, I did a second deed search and I gave the list to the select board so that, because some of these properties are probably not conducive for the town to take because of the money that would probably cost us if we took them over, meaning just junk everywhere, cars in the property, whatever. So that's why I think it's probably a good idea before we do like an actual deed that, you know, I give the board a second chance to look at everything, make sure they all have the ability to drive around and look at the properties that we're gonna take and see whether, because they're the ones that ultimately make the decision of deed waivers. So,
Do we have many of those right now?
we only deeded 4 properties this year. We had a lot of last minute, you know, people come up with money and pay. Some of them were deaths in the family and just trying to get to, you know, involved with probate and what have you, but like I said, there's no way to really foresee how many people are going to be able to get caught up and how many are just gonna.
I just didn't know if it was kind of an average.
Yeah, I mean, the 4 properties we did take, there was no buildings on them, so it's literally just properties, so, and that was, I gave the board a list, you know, to because obviously, like I said, it's probably not conducive for us to have a bunch of properties that have buildings and houses.
So what do we do in that case? I'm just telling you, it's not to.
The select board have the right to do a deed waiver. It has to be consistent, they can't just do it based on someone comes up. I mean, if somebody wants to ask the board, you know, to give them a little bit more time or what have you, that would be, probably it's taking forever. It's literally, some are taking like 3 years to settle. So,
Passes, like a property owner passes and the children.
yeah, or whatever, it's just, the court systems are like behind and it's not even just that, it's just, you know, there's people that have to be contacted, you know, whether it's the court, I mean, I recently went through it and it literally was almost 3 years with, you know, given a couple of months away from 2 or 3 years before it got settled, so.
So if they don't want it and the town doesn't want it, then what happens?
What does that do? I don't know if anybody can answer this, but, so when when everything is sent to the state and they figure out the calculation of how much everybody owes for taxes, I'm assuming it's based upon like how many properties and that whole stuff, but the people that haven't paid their taxes and they should have their properties deeded, if they're in that mix versus like the house is deeded or property is deeded, are they taken out of that equation?
I think those are accounted, and I may be incorrect, I would have to verify, but I think that because they were included in the years that, you know, like each year, you know, I mean, it would be for that particular year.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think they bundle it and say, well, this person has 2 years in arrears and they owe this much. I don't think that
10 properties that aren't paying their taxes, but they're in the mix to pay their taxes to go towards our budget. If those people don't is there like a shortage? I always wonder how that calculation works out. So like if you're not deeding a property that should be deeded to, be taken out of the equation.
That would be a question we'd have to ask the RA. I don't know, do you know how that works, Tim? Since you have more conversations. I would just assume that that's mixed in because we're obviously not the only town that has people that haven't paid. And then we went from having, I wish I would have brought my actual sheet here, but we honestly had like 17 properties or something, give or take, that owed money, whether it was just that 1 year lien process, or it went to, you know, we were leaning towards the, I don't know if they do it deliberately, if, you know, they like, hey, we're gonna pay 1 year, because that gives me another year for you to not need, and they just kind of kick the can down the road. I don't know,
Yeah.
you know what I mean, because you
It's
can't,
3 years.
you have to do 3 years. So you lien after you've not paid for the year of tax bills, and then you deed after 3. So you have to give them that legal right to pay, and they have the option of paying the oldest that is owed, because that takes them, if they paid like, if they owed 3 years and they paid this year, I legally could still deed, and that's why 24 taxes. I have to call them and say, are you sure, or look at them and say, you sure you want this? Because it should be to the oldest, like whether it's 22 or 23, because it's not, it's still, the town can recoup its money by saying you're still technically 3 years, because it's that oldest year that they owe, the first year that's owed, that equates to the 3-year mark.
Richie, I'm just curious because it's like when you say like to decide not to deed versus deed, it's like, does it hurt us in any way to, you know, somebody who hasn't paid a parking taxes in 6 years and this one they're saying like, oh no, we're not gonna deed. I didn't know if that did anything to us.
Well, I mean, it's
Just curious.
It's revenue you're not gonna essentially get in, it doesn't mean you can't change it even later down the road.
right, and then
But
that's.
the bottom line is if it's a liability, by taking the property, you're now gonna be in debt $25,000, you know, as
Right.
opposed to the $2,700 that they owe in taxes.
Yeah.
That's
Right.
You know, you're not gonna take that property.
I just didn't know if it did anything for the budget.
I mean,
taxes.
theoretically, what can happen is, like I said, they can approach the board, they can have a meeting with them, and the board can say, let's use the probate situation
Yeah.
as an example. They know that they've got a court date, they know that they're gonna be assigned as the executor, which would then allow them to pull money out of mom or dad's, you know, bank account to pay the back taxes. Then give them a deadline of, we're gonna give you 8 months, we're gonna give you 6 months, a year, whatever. If they renege on that, we are still allowed to go take that property and say, we don't have to give you another waiver. You've literally not made your payments, which the town's trying to do that. It's not gone very well, from my understanding. But you always have that deadline that they're allowed to set, to say, you have this amount of time, we're willing to work with you because we really don't want to take your house, but if they don't do it, then it doesn't make us bad guys, and we're not, you know, like Scott was saying, though, it's not gonna make any sense if there's 18 cars and we don't have titles.
Yeah.
Guess what happens? They sit there, because the state gives no mercy, whether it's a municipality or it's someone who buys a home and says, hey, there's a bunch of cars there, it's 2,000 and newer, you don't have a title, you're not getting another car. And that's
I
just,
think there was a packet between Crystal or,
I think we give it away. No, I'll give a little permanent.
in front of Randy, there's some extras.
Thanks.
I told you I can't do theirs. I need an extra.
I don't have anything else on the budget. Moving on to police. Hold on, I
Oh,
have-
wait.
You do the budget for the treasurer too?
Yeah, so that was the other thing I was gonna make a note. So I didn't do anything because I hadn't had a chance to talk to you guys because obviously with things changing or whatever, since they don't work, like they're in my budget, they don't work for me. I have never really dealt in like offering because I don't know what you guys
Because they hired positions.
Right. So it's like, theoretically, they work under you guys anyway,
The
so.
posting just went live, it had to be internal for 5 days, it just went live today, right? Today.
So,
Wait a minute, that's for the treasurer, but what about the deputy treasurer? Because that's a line that we paid out of this year that we've never paid out of before, it didn't exist, so I'm just curious if that
The
line
deputy
is-
treasurer resigned.
Right, but it's not budgeted,
Right.
period, for
right,
this
there's
fiscal
what,
year,
9,
so I want to know if it's gonna be budgeted for next year.
Yep.
because we already paid 900 out of it, so if we're paying the deputy treasurer, which we never did prior, it's something we should be budgeting for.
Right, so we need to put a new line item for that.
Yeah.
Yep.
Just also, as far as like,
But it's never been budgeted before, is what I'm saying, so it needs to be budgeted for.
just like moderators, supervisors, ballot clerks, that information's always given to me by, so
Did they give you any information?
I haven't gotten any information, so that's why, I know we've got town elections and then town meeting, but I just don't know what,
Yeah.
I don't know, like, what you guys pay per,
So we went up
election.
last year.
right,
Because this was gonna be of a year,
right,
and she's been dealing with a lot of family
Yeah.
stuff, so, she hasn't gotten that together, and I don't.
well, that's why I just kinda left everything blank, cause I figured if I get it, or I could pass it along or whatever,
Yeah. I'll see if I can get it from you.
but. Checks are done today.
Was it? Okay, good.
Sure I got something, but.
I'm good. Oh, no, you're good.
So we're done with.
Here's the red.
Yep.
Thank you for the same.
Thank you.
I will move on.
All right. First line item is police chief salary. The first one, the police chief salary increased by 10%, $10,000 rather. Went from 77 to some change to 87.
What would that make it for an hourly wage? Are you paid salary or?
I mean, it's always been salary.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Salary.
Yeah.
But that would be salary
Yeah, that's what I thought.
for the purpose. Questions on that one?
So would that be salary, like exempt from overtime?
Yeah, if your salary, you don't receive overtime.
So would that new chief position be just a chief and not a patrolling chief?
Chief and control.
Because if it's a I'm sorry, I'm like screwing up my words. If it's a chief and a patroller, I was gonna say patrol chief. I have a stroke. If it's both, from my understanding, according to like RSA and Department of Labor, they would qualify for the time and a half as well. So that would also,
I looked into that many years, because I was salaried since I chief, so 14 years, there was, even though you have to answer calls, stop cars, you're still, you don't qualify for overtime.
okay, because,
I researched on.
yeah, I'm just curious because I looked into that when I was on the board, and according to like legal and Department of Labor and everything else, if it's like a percentage, and I think Scott maybe speak to me in the field. If you do,
There's statute on it as well, but also town policy, so it also depends on how.
Right, you can write a contract.
Because your contract.
Well, your main job as a chief is the administrator. But in the end, you have to decide, discipline, budget, all that stuff. So your main priority is not patrolman.
I'm just concerned because it's like if that's gonna go up 10%, if the current chief or the
Yeah,
next chief works, 50 hours, that's 10 hours of overtime.
For 14 plus years, I was salary, and if I could have found a way to get overtime, I would have.
Well, the chiefs after you got time and a half, that's the only reason why I get concerned is
Maybe you should have
because.
thought that was.
The contract we're putting together
Right now.
with what we're looking to make it a straight salary position,
Okay.
with no overtime.
Because that would affect, retirement and.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Right, and everything, yeah.
Just want to clarify.
Next line, are we ready? All right. So the next line is the full-time salary for the full-time officers. That's just straight 10% increase. If you divide it up by two, now, so, I mean, either if you took the two, if you hired another person, and, you probably want to have some kind of rank in there, corporal, sergeant minimum. That should cover the salaries for both. And once again, that's an hourly rate. So that equals to $31.25 an hour if you just divided it by two, which in this day and age is, okay at best. Any questions?
I think you're doing good.
That should be a part-time line. Once again, it's just a 10% increase to $16,995. I mean, I worked last year part-time. I got $22 roughly, and that's kind of unheard of. I don't think anybody works at $22 an hour.
What would this increase it to?
Well, it depends. I mean, we interviewed somebody part-time and we was selected off of them $26.50 an hour. This is hard because it's not like you say, you're not working 40 hours. You might work, one shift a month, 2 shifts a month, 3, depending on your availability. So it's, you really should at least be $26.50 an hour for a part-time officer to try to get somebody to work part-time.
So this increase would bring it up to 26?
It could be, because like I said, there's no set hours for the part-time. I mean, like right now, say if we had a part-time officer, well, I guess probably I'm part-time, but, that was available to work, we have them working, 40 hours, because we're down a full-time position, officer. So it depends, I mean, mostly throughout the year, it's part-time, covers like vacation time, the office goes on vacation, the weekend sometimes, shifts, stuff like that, holidays, or, so right now, we don't have that luxury, part-time officers. Next line would be overtime, and along with the 10% increase, they kept it a 10% increase. It should be probably 15, but simple 10, rate is 26,269. Any questions on the overtime? I mean, it's hard to go by what we used this year because it's been
Crazy.
strange, crazy. Because we haven't been, all the options that we have slots for, we haven't had, when you had issues, personnel, and all things, so. It's kind of hard to gauge it by what we've used this year, but. Next is the on-call pay. Once again, you have to have really to cover on-call. Normally, in the past, on-call would be, if you work till 1 a.m., someone came in at 6 a.m., that would cover that span in between. But we don't have the personnel for that right now, so the police are on call. And they show up, What's that?
Right now, on-call is not being expended.
Right, because, only two of us. Next would be the secretary line, part-time position, 10% increase. I anticipate the secretary we have leaving, doesn't write in, but if hire somebody else, competent, 10% increase in more.
How much is it? I'm sorry, were you gonna ask some question? How many hours does,
16 hours a week. So, $14,000 almost this year. So, if you divide that up.
not on your end?
Next is the cell phone stipend. We only use $100. I don't recommend the stipend. I suggest you buy maybe 2 phones. Because, I mean, the phones, you can use to take photos. I mean, half the time on cameras, you always gotta worry about batteries and, phone and stuff. And you end up using your phone half the time anyways, that you really shouldn't. You can in fact discoverable to your phone if you took crime photos. So a lot of departments, everybody has cell phones, so it's not like you can buy a cell phone, department issue. Rather than worry about the cameras, cell phone now, especially, even a halfway ways for it takes better pictures than those regular camera can anyways. And it's easy to download it, dive, see. So, I give it a stipend and just turn on 2 cell phones. And have 2, it should be enough size for the department.
It was put out to all department heads when we did that.
What's that?
It was put out there to all department heads. We had extra phones so they could have a phone for their departments. Everybody chose the stipend.
Well, yeah, back in the, yeah, I mean, but I'm saying common sense wise.
Chris, you had a light, doesn't it?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, like I've got, I could use them, but I mean, I've got the 2 on my phone. I don't want to look at them. Even when I need them, it's like, I don't want to see this again. So, but anyways, so I do that rather than a stipend. But you need to save money. You're not going to be going online. You're going to be using a lot of data.
Yeah.
So basically just calls and photos. We do, that's the same, that covers associations, chief of police associations, that cover any other police associations, the department as well.
On your budget sheet, you have the budget request for this line of 600,
Yep.
but it was budgeted for 3,000 for the dues line. I'm assuming it was just like a carry down mistake or whatever.
You know about that? What would the dues be?
I know last year we had discussions on it, it was, I think 1,500 of that came out for Stratford County. That was why it went up to 3,000 last year. Because the SWAT team was 1,500 and then, the sheriff's department, charged the fee.
For the dispatch meeting?
What's that?
You mean for dispatch?
No, dispatch was a separate line.
For IMC?
It might have been IMC, but the 2 lines were like.
Oh, yeah, well, that was even my error, I keep it at 3.
Okay, I just want to make sure.
Yeah. Total change at 3,000. And then the training, keep that the same. I mean, we're required so many hours of training a year. 17 hours of regular training plus another 10 hours of pre-standard training, mandatory online training. So that should be enough to cover it for, you know, any other training that comes up that you have to purchase to go to training. I mean, most courses are $300, $400. Next would be fuel. I should have brought my reading glasses, and I didn't. But- So the uniforms, I did go up a bit because we're gonna have new people here, hopefully, and uniforms are not cheap. And then, you know, you're gonna probably have to purchase one vest and two vests, probably. A vest alone will run you about $700 to $800 for the setup and carrier. So
Were
that's
we
why
able
that
to
went up.
get the seasonal guy that we hired? Is he set up for, could we possibly get his measure to get his uniform in this budget cycle?
Should make it faster because we would have had a, yeah, and we would have had to qualify, would have paid, have to qualify, et cetera. We would be left to Carolina in, you know, September. So, money wise, I couldn't doing it.
Okay.
Well, I mean, theoretically, with he's gonna be coming back for this, right?
Yeah.
In theory, he's gonna be coming back.
I'm just saying you have over $1,000.
That's a story for another time.
Okay.
Another time. I'll discuss it with you tonight.
Fair.
So that's why the increase on the uniforms. I mean, if you took a brand new person and had an outfit them, you know, winter, summer, a vest, I mean, that's gonna be long, you're gonna be hourly, close to $2,000 on that one. That's the one. If you get two, you have to scrape a little bit. Of course, the stuff we have in the closet, you know, yeah, you might luck out when the person fits that, but around the world, we're all different sizes, you know, so.
And you're not allowed to reuse a vest.
Yes, I mean, I really want to, you know. But, so that's the uniforms. Next one is the vehicle maintenance repairs. So that definitely went up. For some reason, before I got here, the vehicle was not maintained properly. I mean, to tell the truth, they were totally neglected. I mean, over a year without an oil change on a cruiser, it's ridiculous. So, just trying to get these cars, you know, oxygen sensor or something. It was quite a bit of work. So we have two over there now that aren't even running. So, yeah, you see a lot of cruisers, but the white one doesn't run. The Mark Charlie doesn't run. Well, it runs, but it's not spectacular roadworthy. And one of the Explorers is like that. So basically, we got 3 running cruisers right now. So once again, you hire, you know, all of that. So that's why that went up, because, I mean, you want to fix those cars, you don't want them to sit there rotting. And, you know, if you want to buy a new one, you want to be able to, you know, this outfit is probably close to $40,000, so best to, you know, fix what we got and maintain it properly. That, I put in 1,000 more because if you were full staff or close to it, obviously you're gonna be driving around using more fuel, you're gonna be, you know, besides patrolling, you're gonna be driving to court, you're gonna be driving a conduct for evidence. So you're gonna be driving a lot more than, you know, guys are driving right now. So that's why that went up. And I mean, hopefully fuel will go down. Next is equipment. That remained the same. We're in decent shape on equipment. See, that's the same. Not much difference there. Communications, next line. That's the same as in this year here. Next is office supplies, keeping that the same at $850. Next one would be prosecution. I know there's some talk about that, maybe changing that out, trying to find an alternative to going through the sheriff's department. If you do it, that'd be great. Trying to prosecute yourself is not really tough when you don't have the manpower, because if you spend a lot of time in court, which means you're not in town. So, plus you gotta kind of know what you're doing to prosecute, even this as well. So you gotta kind of have some kind of training. Back in the day, I think I went to a 3-4 week school for a prosecute here, but it's time consuming. Now even we'll take a speeding ticket, say you get a speeding ticket, you can test it, you gotta have a pre-trial meeting to try to resolve it without a trial. If you can't, then you gotta go to trial. So that's 2 trips to court just for a speeding ticket. And if you got a DWI, and you gotta have an ALS hearing, or most likely, so you gotta go there, which is further than Rochester Court, and then go through Rochester Court for trial, and then, if it gets appealed, they might end up in Superior Court, just that single DWI case. Quite a bit of court involved. It's not simple as it sounds. Any questions on that? Next would be office equipment, the same as last year. Pretty sure that covers the copy machine, lease, maintenance agreement. Last but not least would be ammunition. Kept that the same. Obviously, the more people you have working, the more ammunition you use, qualification and training, because not everybody's got to qualify and train in ammunition.
Are we good with that for the remainder of the year? See, nothing's been spent?
Yeah, like I said, you want to qualify for yourself and Mike. So, be high back. And that's it.
Thank you.
You're welcome. No questions? No good questions? Excellent.
Everybody get done here, yes.
I guess.
Thanks, sir.
All right, have a good night.
Fire.
You read it.
Mike, you're up.
Sweet.
Fire.
Do you have any copies of your?
There is one there.
Is
Like-
there is?
If it's not, don't have it, I can go make some. It's not the traditional. And then,
Oh, everyone have a good one.
So rude.
Perfect, that's what we need.
So really, I increased the member expense line on the fire side by 2%. So that comes to $1,561. That's the only change I did on the fire side, except I did zero out the fire chief salary and did make the fire chief EMT for the new chief coming in. So I did zero that line out.
Do we have one coming in? Or is it?
It's posted, so yes.
Okay.
So I did turn in my resignation as of October, back in October.
That's until we get somebody, right?
That's correct. So, yes.
Yes.
So I'm still, yes, I'm not leaving until somebody does.
So how long can we write that up?
EMS side, basically, like I said, for fire side, there's not much I have changed other than just added 2% of that budget up to member expense, and that's it. EMS side, you'll see a $10,000 request for EMS shift pay. All that is, my justification for that is because if you look at the ending statement of like October, I'm over it. So, and I suspect by the end of this year, it'll be like $3,000, maybe $6,000. So it's really a cushion for upcoming year is what it really boils down to. Even though it's a bottom line budget, I still like to keep the line items proper.
Yeah.
And that's where the deficiency that I saw was, and that's what I corrected.
I think 10,000 is enough.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So we're
It is definitely,
5,000 over already.
I believe it's okay. I believe that would be more than enough to make it. Until I see the actual line,
Right.
you know, and what my deficit actually is.
Yeah.
And it's hard to judge from year to year. One year could be crazy, one year could be less, recall.
Is the shift pay when they're on call or when the actual call happens and they go?
When the call actually happens, that is, well, it's also there. Shift pay is when a call actually happens, so
And they go
that's,
on.
they're on there.
Not when they're like.
Not the,
Not on,
the-
yes.
not the $5 or whatever. And everybody's shift pay is different or? is it all-
Everybody's shift pay is different, yes, according to your rank, according to your license level as well. Everybody has been, it's been adjusted this year accordingly.
Is Middleton still coming out of the revolving? Of the
No,
ambulance?
no, they are coming out of the EMS shift pay.
How
So-
much of Middleton has dug into this?
I haven't done the final numbers yet, and I'll give, at the end of the year, I'll have that final number. I just want to wait until December. So honestly, I don't know. It's quite a bit.
Can we get that just so for like our next budget meeting?
Oh, absolutely. I'll get you the up-to-date one, the current one. Not a problem at all. Any other questions? I mean, it's pretty cut and dry on it.
Would it make sense to budget, put a new line in for Middleton and other, so we can see the difference easily versus like confusing? Just because I don't see that going away anytime soon, I mean, unless you guys miraculously hire, you know, half a dozen or dozen people.
That would be.
I mean, at any point, Farmington decide too. that they-
Correct.
Exactly.
Or Milton could go up, but it's just out of.
Are we still paying the 500?
750,
So
yes,
you know,
it is 750.
So,
They did go
That
up.
happened last year, right?
Yes. I don't suspect it's going up again, but who knows? No.
How many do we have for EMS and fire?
So we have 15 members total on the roster. EMS wise, we have
We have 6 active, we have 4. I'll be honest with you. Active that sign up for shifts. So, but that, we are getting another EMS certified personnel, hopefully by the end of this month. So, and he's willing to do per diem. So he does want to be at the state, so it's a start.
That only works though if we have 2 shoot.
It only works if we have 2, and the new chief EMT, that gives us 2. So depending on days, it's a matter of shuffling around the schedule.
Yeah.
And it's really that simple.
They ever changed the,
Yeah, I know they skirted around it.
Yeah.
They mentioned changing it,
Yep.
like Maine only requires 1 license,
Yes.
and a firefighter can drive, you know? But
Yeah,
that would be nice, it just,
New Hampshire has.
New Hampshire
Okay.
has not come to that.
Let's do that.
And I don't foresee it changing, I'll be honest with you. They did during COVID, they did kind of relaxed on it a little bit, but it's over, so.
With the part-time, the fire chief, how many hours? I haven't seen the post.
I think it's 24 hours. And the days aren't set or anything else, and the time is not set, but we would like a set time and date
Yeah.
of that set sheet. Because it's just more practical and a lot easier to schedule and a lot easier for neighboring towns to say, but we have 2 people on for EMS, you know? So, questions, comments?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Nice, easy, I like it, go home.
You're up there.
I don't have my sheet in front of me, but I do remember it. So basically, I took the hourly rate. I remember what it is. I don't remember the numbers, but you guys have the numbers in front of you. So I took our hourly rate, multiplied that by 40, and then by 52, and then did 3% on that. I don't know what you guys are looking at for raises this year for the employees, but obviously we're gonna go with whatever you guys decide. So, with that being said, the overtime looks like it's gonna hit just about right. So I did the 3% on what we had last year. I didn't take our salaries and do the hours. So I did the 3% on that. And then, you're gonna see a few lines that still have some money in them. We do have some outstanding work orders, and the trucks still down there at Grezio's. So that one's still up in the air a little bit. We did try to get that today, Kim, and I don't believe.
I found the emails and ended up going into spam.
Oh,
So I printed a bunch of the invoices that she sent me. I put them in your bin. So you've got the original invoice and the work orders. So
I was trying to get that for you tonight. I suspect it's going to be over this 11.7. It's a lot of money, but it's not really when you go buy a load of salt. It's like $3,000 for a load of salt, so there's $18,470 in that. So, you know, you're looking at six more loads of salt. If we have an easy December, which we're close to right now, and we're hopeful some of that may plow edges. I'm not sure if Jordan Equipment has got their bill in yet. I will check with Kim. And if not, then I'll order another set of carbides for the new truck. We did get the new truck in.
The other one that we have is the seasonal, and I've got Mark working right now. There's 5,000 left in that, and like I said, he's working right now, and basically I brought him into the truck that he's driving is a little different than the truck he was driving last year. I wanted him to get comfortable with that, and we have the pit, which is our gravels and stuff that we had crushed, and our winter sand and all that. So that line, I left alone. Like I said, hopefully December is a quiet one, and that one works. The tree work, Save a Tree, which was formerly Urban Tree, is going to be coming in and getting that done. I have a meeting with him on December 9th, and I don't know if anybody's tried to get tree work done, but to try to get a tree company in. I have a deal with them where we use them. They use, something happens, they can't go to a certain job, then they can come in and work for us. It gives us a better rate, and they get the work done before the end of the fiscal year. Safety equipment. We've got a few items that we just bought, and with the new truck, there's a few things that I've got to do. I've got to have the radio company come in, take the radio out of the older truck, and put that back into the new truck. And I was gonna take that out of. I'll have the tank filled before the end of the year. I think the drug testing, Jim just got called last month. That'll put that over a little bit, but it's not going to be horribly over. So basically, going all with the same numbers and just the cost of living increase.
I noticed that you did pretty much level funded across the board, like through all year. Are you confident about that? Like,
Yes.
you do the increase of, okay.
Yep. Yep, no,
I'm not complaining by all means.
No,
I just want to make sure.
you know, like I said, I'm looking at the numbers and you know, like, you know, I know, you know, there's a few lines here that, like, shop supplies, that one's over just a little bit, but it all depends, you know, shop supplies can be, you know, several things, you know. I don't really count like a 55 gallon drum of oil, which we're gonna be doing our oil changes soon. Trying to get the hauling and stuff done first, so we'll have the loader to do. One of the trucks is new, so that oil's new, but a 55 gallon drum is like $700 for the oil.
Yep.
So I do have a full drum of hydraulic oil. The motor oil is probably going to be, but you know, I'm comfortable with what we have. With the new truck coming in, you know, there was some uncertainty of what we were going to have incur for costs and stuff like that. So, you know, didn't want to, you know, we tightened the belt quite a bit, and in anticipation of some unforeseen expenses. So, didn't want to go over.
Are you comfortable with the diesel line?
Yep.
I know it's like, I know you look great now, but.
Yeah, no, I mean, the thing is, we have, you know, like I said, we've been doing a little bit more trucking, and I know, I don't know if you guys have a different number. I'm looking at 8,000 right now. I don't know if, she just did another report, so that could be lower right now. I'm not sure. It's gonna be lower. So our usage is going, which is normal for our department. Wintertime, we use more. You know, during the summer hours, summer days, we don't use as much fuel as we do in the winter.
What is it based on, like your 18,000, like per gallon? How many gallons, how are you getting 18,000? Is it?
It's more, a trial and error thing. I've been here for almost 4 years. And I know it was up before and they had cut it. And what I'm looking at for a number, the 18 is working right now, and we were more expensive last year than we are right now.
Okay.
I'm just saying, that being said, you know, I do foresee, us kind of streamlining this a little bit, so it may even go down some, next year. I obviously, you know, I grew up around farmers and stuff like that, and I don't really, you know, I'm not a frivolous spender. So, and the other thing is, just so you guys know, what my future plan is I would like to work till I'm 62 as the road agent, and then maybe we hire someone else as the road agent, and I work under them for the last 5 years to try to get some overlap. Maybe we get a younger person in there. And that's what you know, I'm trying to look out for the town. I'm trying to get this town set up so that we're gonna have, you don't have to worry about the highway department. That's what I'm looking forward to.
How many
So-
years we got, Dan?
What's that?
How many years we got?
No, I'm only
How old you are?
I'm only 57. I'm only 57. So
There we go.
I'm thinking we obviously have an older crew. I don't know what Rob's plans are. I know Jim's not. He started off at 70. I think he's down to 65 now. So he just turned 63. So and it's very hard to find people that want to do this type of work. But if we could get, you know, someone, you know, mid-30s, even 40s, not out of the, you know, you get 20 years out of a road agent, you know, a younger guy, you know, it'll be good for the town. So, you know, we get someone or we don't get someone, but, you know, that's what my plan is right now. So, just so you guys are aware of that.
Great plan.
I'm glad you're thinking ahead because.
No, I'm not planning on moving anywhere. So, but, and the other thing is too, like I said, we got the new truck, and once we get everything suited up, I'm thinking about having an open house so that we can kind of have people come down, and thinking about setting up a mailbox and a pail at the wrong height and then one at the right height, and then they can kind of see it in the sunlight.
Don't worry, they'll get the nasty gram from the.
So, but, you know, I just, you know, and have the, and I think, you know, the highway department, the police department, the fire department's all been working great together. And, you know, I just think we're a small town and I like it here. And, you know, I plan on staying here, so.
Nice.
All right?
Thanks, Dan.
So, and like I said, whatever you guys decide to go with the employees, we're fine with. We're cost effective.
Thank you.
All right?
Thanks, Dan.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Getting old, you know, give me a break.
And I'll try to get those numbers from DePrizio. Kim just got them this afternoon, so. We haven't got the truck back yet, pickup truck, so.
It's nice.
Some of those might be.
We'll look at them. I know which ones are ours and which, yeah.
No, it's not that, it's just, some of them kind of duplicate. Well,
As long as the work orders aren't the same, if it's the same work order, yeah, it's a nightmare, I know it is.
yep.
You know, and it's tough for you and it's tough for us because we don't know, we send a truck down there that needs to be repaired, something that we don't do in-house or whatever. When we send them down there, we're assuming we've got, you know, this much in here and all of a sudden, that ain't gonna cut it.
As of January 31st, those all started going into junk, so I gotta figure out how to get them not to go to junk. So,
Yeah, must be something, how to acknowledge it or something.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, because I thought it was weird that they didn't send the work orders.
I know.
Typically when we go pick up a truck, they don't give us a work order with the truck, they just say the truck's done and then. Yep.
Catherine helped me a little bit too with that. Down there, she had provided.
Oh, and I don't know if you guys are all aware or not, but I think Roxanne had time to go through the block grant, what we had after we bought the truck, and I believe it's somewhere around 78,000 right now.
Of the block grant?
Yes. Well, we had a $52,000 one and then a $17,000
Oh,
one.
you guys are obviously gonna spend that, right?
Yes. Well, we're looking at flail mowers for the loader. And the reason why we want to put one on the loader is if we put it on the excavator, now I've got a loader and another truck with nothing to do. So if you put it on the loader, which has the same arm as an excavator, you can go around. Rob would be running the loader and then we'd be doing ditching and all that. So we utilize our 3 guys better than putting it on the excavator and, you know.
Like it, useful.
Yeah.
Makes sense.
So we're doing our homework on that.
Great.
And hopefully, most of the equipment and all that stuff is gonna be out of the
Do we
water.
know what we're gonna get for our,
It's not in the budget.
Well, because the fiscal year ends in July.
yes, yeah.
So our 24 actually ends
In July.
in July.
That's right, that's right.
And then the 25 is, but I assume it's gonna probably be around that 60 range.
Again,
60, 61.
what do you guys use that for, like supplies?
Well, no, we haven't used it for anything.
No, I know,
So we're purchasing our equipment and stuff with it.
but, nice.
So that we don't pass that burden on to the taxpayer. Well, yeah, no, that's the way it's supposed to be used.
Or pay off bills, I mean,
So-
yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
That's great. These are really good ideas, I like it. They're not going in
and,
direction.
yeah. Oh, and I don't know if you guys know, but in the spring, they'll finish the sidewalk, chair, and everything, yeah. So that was the last, that was the last thing when I got hired, it was, last,
Oh, I'm sure that was. Awesome, thank you.
Alright, you guys have a good night.
Hey, Diane, have a good one. Alright.
Do you want to take a 5-minute quick break?
Sure. Perfect, why?
They didn't do 80, oh wait, never mind. So you don't have that.
Alright, monthly donations first.
Where's the?
Yes. I think it's all in the budget.
It's on the last page, 4415. Start with the V&A.
Yeah. I had these in order, but
Messing up my folder.
Cornerstone. So community action, they as well have asked for 1,000, just as they did last year. Greater Wakefield, I know that's.
500.
Greater Wakefield, they were on here for 500. They never asked for it last year. They did send a request this year, asking for 1,000.
We haven't even paid the one they asked for last year out.
I know.
Okay.
They should ask for it.
First. Yeah.
Wait, so did they send a letter requesting it for last year?
No, this is for this upcoming year.
Right, so the 500 that's budgeted
Last
for
year
this
we
year.
budgeted
Last year they budgeted for them, but they never, so we don't just mail the checks out.
Right,
If we don't
so
send the request, we don't send. But we budgeted for it because they've asked for 500 a year.
in previous years, so they didn't ask for it last year, but we budgeted for it anyways.
Right. Send it,
Okay.
yeah. So this year they asked for 1,000.
So if they're asking for 1,000, we have it as 500 under the department head, so we're only gonna do 500, or are we gonna do 1,000?
No.
That's up to you for your proposed budget.
Well, that's what's on the
Well, it's
budget
asking
sheet,
for
but
1,000, but the budget
We
sheet
haven't
says
done our
500.
proposed yet.
So are you guys saying only 500?
I would say yes, because what they're basically doing is almost like a Meals on Wheels program. Requesting here from Stratford County, who also does Meals on Wheels.
Right.
I would be more opposed to go with a full 1,000 with them if they were our dedicated Meals on Wheels provider, but where we have another organization that's doing the same thing in our community.
Yeah.
So I think that's my thoughts.
Okay, perfect.
So keep it from Greater Wakefield at 500?
Yeah.
Did it say how many residents they service?
They don't give you the residents here in Middleton. They do meals 3 days a week to 60 plus
So is
citizens.
that place you have to go to? They do
They're from
dinners and stuff?
I think so.
I've heard about it.
the resource, yeah, it's right downtown, right, I think it's right by the rec center. The Wakefield Rec Center. They did provide statistical information. They're on average feeding 5 Middleton residents per day versus here in town. Their estimated cost from their organization to residents of Middleton, $12,621. Based on that, they're asking for $1,200.
Okay, I'm only gonna, so,
It
because
should say
this
500.
here says the department budget head,
It should
and
say
under
500.
that it says 1,000, so it's,
Yeah. No, that's fine, I'm just.
they're asking for 1,200, but department head, which I assume is the select board,
Yes.
is putting away 1,000.
Yep,
That's what I'm trying to verify.
Yep.
So Stratton.
That's another one. And then we do have Haven as well as a request, 500. Now, we did get 2 other requests, which may not be on this budget, just because of the last few weeks. One is for CASA, Court-Appointed Special Advocates. They were looking for a $500 donation. And then the other one is from the American Red Cross. And
We
then,
have the Red Cross.
They have a line.
Well, we have for adult.
Right.
yes, so they've sent a request for 500, which we just got recently,
Okay.
in the last couple weeks, week or two.
They used to be on there and then they didn't request any money.
Right.
So they're placeholder, so.
So we'd be
That's
looking,
just to keep the line.
looking to add CASA and
Oh, I know what it's for, but so we can actually add money to that line,
and
if,
move the Red Cross back up to the 500.
Haven, did you request any money this
Yeah,
year?
they requested.
No,
Yeah, they did.
I'm talking about out of our original budget, they originally got 500 and they haven't requested it yet. I'm surprised, because they're usually pretty good about requesting, because I work with them, HR.
Yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering.
Do the other places say like how much they serve our community and the letters?
This, like, you're talking, well, like CASA is completely different, and
Yeah.
that's gonna not be disclosed.
Right. No.
Same thing with Haven, they won't be able to close it.
Yeah, Haven's not gonna disclose anything. You know, community action gives you Stratford County statistics, not broken down to actual Middleton statistics. The only one that actually broke down they didn't give specifics to the statistics, no.
So the rec department, we had 3,000 in there, but at town meeting, it was voted to give us another 500, so that was put in the other cultural rec line. We would like to request.
What number are you on?
4415. 4589 is what the other 500 was.
so you wanna move it from that back up to the.
Yes. So we're looking at 3,500.
So instead of 3, you went with 35?
Yes.
Okay.
And then zeroing out the cultural,
Yes.
or pulling it
Put it at-
at a dollar.
Yeah.
All right. And then,
Bonnie, could you get us a letter on the letterhead and request that? Okay. Like all the other. Yep.
That's the right, that letter, right?
Okay. Very official.
Hey, we got this going, you know?
4460, then, do we want to just start in the front now?
That's it.
Work our way around 7,000.
Yeah. You want me speaking?
Yeah, you want to do these first?
Well, I'd rather just go quickly and, we'll take it by section. Selectman salary, I believe that's a, regular 3%. We have a board member who doesn't take any pay, and we use that money for our Christmas. To our Christmas party on the 7th of December, I think.
6 p.m.
6, okay, 6.
No,
It'll formally go out when you guys get it, when it heads up.
it's a Saturday, right?
Yeah. So the
Is it the
8th,
7th?
It's the 7th. The
7th
was
Saturday.
our
Seven,
yeah, 7th at 6 p.m.
yeah.
Where?
Here.
Oh,
Right here.
Here, how about that on town hall?
That's a stupid rule.
Last year, everybody
Come
got
watch
it.
love it.
And I will just say formally, we have not met regarding the budget. We had, Roxanne help put this together for tonight and,
So is this the first time you've ever seen these numbers, kind of?
So,
Okay, so we're, nothing's in stone. Administrative assistant, that position is going to get an increase to $28.75 per hour,
When is that increase happening?
January 1st.
Even though did they just get were they ever given the increase in September like they were supposed to be?
Yes.
3%.
The 3%?
How much was that?
What's that?
What was?
What was the total?
2875.
Thank you.
What was it before?
2575.
2575, yeah.
Okay. The admin clerk is, that's Robert's position, right?
Yep.
That position is going to, is it 21 even?
21
21 even.
Yep.
Oh,
From 18.
okay, slow, sorry. This one, nice.
The office telephone, I'm guessing that went up because we haven't used that much and it's over, so I don't know. I don't know why it's going to 16, I can't remember. Postage, everything, that's all the same. Association dues. I'm not sure.
Who gets paid the mileage reimbursement out of, is that for the treasurer or?
Nope.
No, treasurer's the other one.
That's for you, right?
I've never done,
And would it be her?
So I
and
think
Robin?
no garbage.
like Roxanne and I went down to that
Because Robin goes to
NHMA.
different conferences as well.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right, but
If
she,
any of you guys know anywhere you could do mileage.
You can put mileage in
Yeah, I
for it.
never put in for mileage.
Right.
Not a Robin, that's probably Robin.
That's what it's there for.
yeah, probably Robin, because
Any non-friends or anything?
They can put in for mileage if they want to.
Never.
Yeah, they. Sorry.
On postage, what do you guys use for postage?
We just
What?
got a new postage machine in September, was it? October?
Is that what the bulk of the money?
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
And
okay,
we do
yeah.
certified mail now,
Yeah.
so we get a discount with that.
Nice. So the machine itself is the reason why it's.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's a
Do you
contract.
still,
Yeah. It's you hit me both. I don't remember.
That's it.
do you have to pay on
It did go up.
it did go, it's like $336 a month, because we're also, the machine that we got, it, exactly like the other one.
Yeah.
But, like on the certified, you don't have to do the green cards and then the other part, it's just one sticker and it scans in, you scan it in, because we get a little scanner
Nice.
now. And normally it's 9 something, close to 10, we get it for $8.16 per certified.
Nice.
So it's like $1
Savings.
savings on that. And then you also get your postage that you have to pay every month. And if you download the postage twice in the month, it's an extra $10 fee.
Oh, really?
So you're budgeting about 2,700 for postage itself then? Because the machine at $336 a month is just over 4,000. So it's only, you're only budgeting $2,750 a month, $2,750 for the whole year.
Because
Looks like it.
But that's not tax collector stuff. Tax collector, I think postage is in a different
No.
line.
No,
That's for taxes, tax bills, all that stuff. Yeah, you guys are.
we're gonna have to raise that because of the new contract, but, the postage, whenever we put postage on, we put it on at 500 at a time.
yeah, that's kind of a lot.
Because you got 2 tax bills obviously a year, and you have the planning board and ZBA use that, I'm assuming too, out of that one?
Yeah.
Don't get the barrel.
ZBA now.
ZBA.
Sorry, I didn't mean this, be stuck on the postage. I got probably sitting over there apparently.
Yeah, no. So you should reimburse.
Everything else
Picture
is.
that one down.
Only a couple bucks.
Yeah.
Well, it's contractor anyway, right?
Takes care of all that.
Any questions on that section?
Association dues going up over $1,000. You're not, you guys aren't gonna do it.
I know, pay NHMA. I remember Roxanne saying something about that. I don't know if that bill comes in at the end of the year.
Correct, look into that.
No more questions for me, sorry guys. That's okay. Then to the longevity. Longevity went down because we have one less employee this coming year that qualifies. Basically, those are all the rough formulas we did.
That the employees are paying, is that why it's?
No, there's an increase January 1.
What is it, 9.9?
Yeah.
And then it's going up.
Across the board, health insurance
Yeah.
going up.
More like 9, almost 10%.
Yeah.
But you're only expended 56,000 out of 95,000. So I understand it went up 9.9.
Yeah, yeah.
Are you guys just making sure, like,
So-
you have whole
Yeah, so
insurance for-
what we, number one, we had multiple people that don't have insurance, that potentially the physicians could carry insurance. So for some of those positions, we base numbers based on like a double, not a full family, but a double, so that if they leave and somebody comes in and we hire them and they want a double plan, we have that money budgeted for it.
What if somebody comes in, they need a family plan, now we're screwed.
The 95,000 was based last year on how many full-timers?
It fluctuated throughout the year. Oh, you're not asking for actual, you're asking how many full-timers?
How many full-timers do we have, should I ask?
7,
7, okay,
and right now,
and what's the family plan for 7?
a family plan, 31,167.29.
What's our cost? Is that our cost, or is that
That's
our
town's portion.
That's the town.
town portion? What is it, 31,000 what?
31,160.
You want my glasses?
Oh my god, it's so bad. 218,000.
I know Roxanne said in that line, obviously we're predicting we're getting a new fire chief. We are hoping to get another full-time, a new police chief. We're hoping to get another full-time officer.
Yeah, no, we definitely
There
have
is assuming that at least one of those people has a family plan, there's a buffer of 1. Like, we're planning and then there's the buffer.
to. Yeah, absolutely. No, I
It's
agree.
hard to predict.
Absolutely. We'll see.
You're right, we could get somebody with, 10 kids.
Yeah.
And somebody could get married in the middle of the
Yeah.
year.
Absolutely.
And do a family.
Do we give them an incentive for not taking insurance or?
We just had this discussion the other day.
Yeah.
Currently, we're not doing a buyout.
Yeah.
Nothing at all. I mean, we're small, but we did the buyout if they don't take our insurance for liability. Yeah,
Well,
exactly.
it's the same with down the line, the highway department needs to get younger. You're not gonna retain anybody if you're not offering retirement to them.
Right.
Well, that's what's hard.
So, there you go.
Dental insurance isn't increasing,
It's not increasing as much as the other one.
because that didn't increase at all, but maybe it's because
No.
we didn't use most of it, so maybe that's why.
They're just- that sounds low.
The same.
Can you know?
No, I can't remember, there was an
I was gonna say, there was a small increase, but I don't remember it. Nothing like the 9.9.
No. Oh, yeah, that one, that one's a little rough.
All right.
So moving to like the government lines, basically Roxanne was looking at what we used this year from electric. Trying to, trim where we could. Yeah, any questions on that?
I gotta do some. I'll get there. The maintenance facilitator, we
we are actually gonna budget to pay out of that line this year.
What would you want?
It's 419,450.
Yes.
And then you'll see the building maintenance, we just move it with all, that's where you're going to pay out.
So you realize you can't just create a line and pay out of it with no budget, right? Because that's what you guys have done several times this year. Just,
Because there's no dollar amount we can't make limits. Didn't exist when we did our budget, has to have this dollar to kind of move money into it. Otherwise, it's probably gonna mean you can move it anywhere else that has money in it, but it's just an FYI. I have a question about the repairs on the old town hall. You're already over the line, and you're gonna install level funded, just wondering. If that was just because there was a lot of repairs this year, and we did most of the repairs and don't foresee anything else.
Well, we're hoping with any drainage that we won't have
Yeah.
nearly as many issues as we had this past year.
That makes sense.
We had a lot of
Okay.
flooding in the basement.
Yeah, okay.
We put a lot of money into the parking lot.
It better, right?
Yeah, I'm hoping it's
Zero.
it's gonna rain first.
That makes sense.
Where does money go for the rental use of this?
I am not sure
Is it,
on the revenue side.
could there be like a way that that money gets put into a fund to help with the repairs of the building?
well, I mean, but
I mean,
it wouldn't be a bad idea
Yeah.
to do it.
Because I mean, you've got one for like the ambulance where
Here's
the
the
money that they generate, that the police have, there's for their
In
vehicles.
the last couple of years, it's been rented way up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
it's
mean, I drive
very
by,
popular.
I see some it's, I mean, it might be more financially, and then you don't have to worry about going over a budget because somebody's there.
And it's well over $100 or so to rent this place.
Residents of monthly non-residents.
Yeah, so you can't really beat that.
I was gonna say, it's been all over social media, it's even, I think Farmington Rec's higher than that now, other places.
So are you guys good with the 4194?
I have a question about your heat. Is that hot oil?
Where?
I'm sorry, 4194, 51, 52, 53, 54. Is that,
You talk about,
is it electric heat or oil heat? I know that's some.
where?
The 4194.
4194, 51, yeah, 51, 30.
So-
51? That's here. It's oil and it's horsepower.
Okay, so I'm just wondering, like, are you guys going by gallons? What's the
I
price
think
per
it's
gallon?
based on usage.
You get,
As you can see,
What-
we only used $964 last year, so that's why they dropped that.
God, do we know what price per gallon we're paying? And then like the average gallons that we
It
use?
depends, Dead River fluctuates, but it's been averaging about 3 to 3.10 a gallon.
Okay,
Is it possible to find a place to like lock in at like a decent rate for like municipalities for that or?
Well, we get a decent rate. I think the highest we went to last year, because I had to pull all the bills from last winter, I think the highest we went to was like 3, don't quote me, unless it was like 3.12 a gallon.
for diesel
Which is-
or just for?
Yeah, for K2,
Yes.
which in the dead of winter is pretty cheap.
Mm-hmm, yeah.
So-
and the bill that comes in for this building gets split half fire department, half Old
Makes
Town
sense,
Hall.
yeah. Do we have a contract with that firm or we just kind of go?
Yes.
Oh, we do, you say, sorry, I wasn't listening. I think.
We're on an automatic fill setup with them for the gas pumps, the diesel, the propane, all that.
Okay.
I'm good with that.
Have you guys seen any difference with the mini splits in the municipal building with electric and all?
Do they work, Kim?
I mean, they work.
No, I know, but like, have you seen like, I'm just asking because like I noticed a huge difference when I got mini splits in my own house for like my electric bill, like it just went way down. I just didn't know if you
I
guys
never really
noticed.
noticed.
Their electric bill went down
Yeah.
with mini splits?
With mini
Oh,
splits?
just you have electric heat?
No, I have oil for heat, but I don't use it. But I use my mini splits year round for whether I'm using it for air conditioner or heat. And my electric bill is like
much better versus using like a window unit.
Oh, window, okay, I get you. I'm sitting there like, how'd you build those down?
I know.
Add to it.
No,
No,
yeah.
I guess you got rid of the window AC. That makes sense.
It hasn't jumped out to me for the electric, but
No, it's like the electric bill we just get for the municipal building right now was $696, and they're talking 5 mini splits.
Just curious to see if it's like, if it was worth,
We don't use it for heat though.
Yeah.
We're just using it for basically the AC.
but I mean, they had those huge window units before that were like,
oh, trust me, we know.
yeah. We're not very efficient.
Nothing changed between, emergency management, Stratford dispatch. Moving down to the 43, 16 through 23 section. School fees have gone down only because of their usage, but they're look over now. I'm guessing that, did, the school board give their proposed budget? I wonder if I'm saying that, no?
No, I don't think she's got that.
That number would have to do with it. That's a win.
Yeah, I think school gas is another one. I know it's in and out, but it still messes you on one way.
The recycle, that's shredded, right? Is that the
I mean,
shredded?
that's the only thing we have left.
Where is that?
Oh, is that the, return rate?
4324.
What's that? I'm sorry.
The 4323-04 for the recycle. Is that the shredded, is that the,
Iron Mountain?
shredding?
Yeah, that's Iron Mountain.
Iron Mountain.
Is it iron?
They
Yeah,
come-
they come over and do our
I
shredding.
have shredded.
There's a shredding bin and.
Yeah,
They do the on-site shredding.
okay. Do they only come when you call them?
Yes.
Okay.
There's one barrel down in the police department.
Yeah,
and
then
one
you have one
upstairs.
upstairs, yeah.
Yeah.
Did the tonnage, I know you guys went up to 194, did they go up on their prices or?
Which one? Oh, we've seen an increase on that.
This is our last thing after house.
Are you guys working on the contract yet?
We've sent out to a couple other, waste management, a couple others that have inquired. We sent information out to them, but we've received no correspondence for that. That contract will expire in 2025.
The one we have now?
Yeah.
When, like,
I think it's at the end of 2025.
okay, so we,
Oh,
January 1st, we're not gonna have a big
Yeah.
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 I can do that. Any other questions?
Just on the back page, on the, where you have employer, social security, Medicare, and then miscellaneous fees and charges. What is the miscellaneous fees and charges? What?
We saw that, we were like, oh, this is gonna be flagged. I'm not exactly sure what it is.
Where are you looking?
The, back page.
The very last
61.
line. But it's a, again, it's a line that
Yes.
doesn't actually exist either, so.
No, it's definitely historical.
That is need to know basis, and we don't need to know.
That might have, what date was this report done?
This was done on the 15th.
Yeah, that
Do
4120
you know what
may
our
have been
timelines
moved.
are for like submitting
Roxanne
everything?
may
Because
have
it's
moved
gonna start
that.
coming.
Yes. We gotta get our budget together.
You can always print out the NHMA calendar, you know, how, what, like our timelines are and everything. I can print it out tomorrow if you guys want.
Anything else? I can tell you, this building is the lot, and it's hard to find time to get in here. You're just trying to get in time.
Get the right
meeting.
Oh, yeah.
It's getting booked up, so you have to watch that.
You know with us, so it's fine.
We got regular meeting is December 16th.
See you tomorrow.
So, 7:15, last day for board, treasurer,
Yeah.
funds, appropriate, and then 17th was
You had a
municipal
second
fiscal. State of standards, towns, standard fiscal. Last day for select-board JV, and taxes. Oh, hold on, I'm gonna go to that 525.
We adjourned or?
No,
Yeah.
are we ever going to get anything from the school?
Oh, it'll be on the 11th hour, the law changes.
But we haven't had a budget from the school in 2 months.
I sent it to you.
Yes, there was one that came in, I didn't forward it because we
You don't have ordinance.
But I'll forward it tomorrow.
Last day for goes
They
to
had it.
Virginia 10.
And we've had a lot of questions out there that still
No
don't
balance,
answer.
nothing
Yeah, I
balance.
sent the questions I got last time I was here, I sent, and then I sent you guys the budget, but the actual proposed budget will be on the 11th hour, because negotiations for everything, so.
Did you get the question? Yeah, I sent that.
Yes, it still didn't answer a bunch of the questions we had.
Did the budget committee ever get the itemized line by line?
Nope.
No.
That
She
was
requested in the
for.
summer of, it was, she.
The last time I asked her,
Because we never asked her for that, she was.
Okay, that's the last meeting I was there.
We should have time to get it.
But we've asked and we've asked and we've asked.
February 24th is where we're
Last time I
trying to
asked her,
have
was
to
the
start.
last time I was here, she told me that, which was not last time,
Yeah.
that she'd get to it when she had time. But,
Okay, well,
but there's other questions that you guys asked me, let that be known.
yes, I appreciate that. Thank you. We did get those, but we have asked several other questions.
Those are the ones that I got.
When will the board have their
So,
final
The
numbers?
3 questions I asked.
We're required, I
The board is,
We had no financials, we had no financials from them.
so we have December, January to kind of look over this and go through.
There was no-
Do we have the ratio rate yet, or your assessed value as a whole, to figure out what the tax rate is right now, right? Yeah, you should get in November. No, not the tax rate, but like it's on the tax rate sheet, so we can, yeah, it's your ratio, so it's like, we can see what the tax impact will be, yeah, exactly. We do have that?
Yes.
Perfect. Do we know it in proper hands?
Off the top of my head.
Okay.
Now you're pushing.
I know, I just want to see. Okay. Thank you. I won't keep it, I just want to write down the number.
I think I have another one right here.
Is that on your tax rate? Or, yeah, what is it?
Well, for me, it's 1554, for you, it's.
Yeah.
But it's not that much.
Yeah, no, it's not. Ours is not.
It's 2054 for you.
I don't know.
No.
I believe it.
Oh, no, yours is, what, 20 cents a
Mark.
Yeah.
Hey, they got the lake, you know.
The dam pays off. I think that's the most. That's
Yeah, but my assessments is a little higher.
This is the,
It's still
this is the
higher
number I
than-
use for the tax rate.
my two neighbors
The
from
tax effort, the one that's called tax effort, so you just divide by whatever, what do you have that in your?
Who's in charge of this? Oh, they.
Yeah.
We're gonna have a motion to adjourn.
Ladies, are you up for a motion for this?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
All in favor?